welcome to another edition of Fundy Motorsports Magazine. Later on in the show, we're going to drop into the shop with Brian Ferguson as he concludes his explanation on air conditioning in your car. After that, we'll be checking in with the Grand Bay Stomp with an on-scene report. But first up, we went to Pennfield to check out drag racing and find out who is the king of the street.
With me is Chris Lord, who is the promotion director of the drag racing here. So how'd you get everything underway and going, Chris?
Well, it was quite a job. We started with, me and Billy Groom out of St. Stephen started with trying to organize this, and we got met some people at the Rotary Club in St. George, and they was looking for ways to make revenue to build the indoor swimming pool at Fundy High School. So we set up a non-profit organization. All the proceeds from this race will go back into the racetrack or into the Rotary Club for benefit the pool, indoor pool at Fundy High School, or other projects in eastern Charlotte County.
Are you pleased with the turnout today?
I'm very pleased with the turnout. We have 110 cars here. I don't have a number on how many people are here right now, but I'm very pleased with the turnout. It shows me that drag racing can perform well in Pennfield. The weather has been a little bit dampening today, but we're getting through it, and we're going to have a good race.
How many more races you plan to have this year?
Okay, we're planning a two-day event in August 21st and 22nd here with a gamblers race and time trials on Saturday and a full slate of racing on Sunday. And the other event will be in September 18th. That's a Saturday event, and we'll have a full race, trying to have a nostalgia weekend there and U.S.-Canadian War between this track and the one in Winniport, Maine.
With me is Rob McKinnon. Where are you from, Rob?
St. John.
What do you like? What do you like about drag racing anyway? What's got you into it anyway?
Well, I find it's a big heartthrob for me. Just my main thing in life. Pretty well, you know, a little entertainment, gets you excited. Good time.
So how's the track today? Is it pretty good?
It's not bad. It needs a little bit of work. They were talking earlier about putting some money into it to repair it here and there. It is rather rough halfway down the track. The line, it's probably better with the flat skins, but you know, we'll give her our best.
How's the car running today?
Excellent, like a top, like she should.
What was your time?
Well, 15.6, about average. Now, it's not the greatest, but I'm happy with it.
Jeff Corey from Petticodiac. Jeff, what do you think of the track here today?
Well, it's not too bad. It's nice to see the track back for another summer of racing there. I was anxiously awaiting for this year to start up and everything, and hopefully the weather will prevail. It's a good cool day, so the cars should be running pretty good. So.
Danny Lord, where are you from, Danny?
St. Stephen, New Brunswick.
And what got you into drag racing?
I don't know, just a sport, I guess. Nephew raced for quite a few years, and I just kind of picked it up going along with him.
Oh yeah, and how's the track today? Is it how's the car run and everything? How's it working out?
Car's not working good, but it's spinning a lot off the line today. but I think it worked pretty good today.
Is Mark Reed. Where are you from, Mark?
St. Stephen.
And how's the car working today?
It's working pretty good. Could work a little better, though.
What do you think of the track? Is it pretty good or not too bad?
Well, they're doing some work to it. It's coming.
Is Danny Higgins. Danny, where are you from?
St. Stephen.
And what kind of car is this? This is a Corvette, but what year is it?
68.
68?
Yeah.
How's it running today?
Oh, I stripped the rocker arm and stuff, so I don't know for sure right now. I'm going to find out, I guess, when I go up.
What was your time in your first run?
I didn't really get a good time, because I did that and we had to put her back together, so we just got her back together. So last time I had her out, she went a 10:42 or 46. Last time I had her out.
Is that a pretty good time for you, or?
Yeah, it's not bad. You know, I'm running on 990 index, but I don't shift her very high. I only go 6,500. Like, she's built to go 8,000 easy. So if I wanted to push her, she'll go pretty good numbers, even better.
What do you think of the track today?
Slippery, slippery. It's very slippery up there, boys. You're spinning quite a bit off the line. The first time I took it out, she spun pretty bad. So I guess I'm gonna have to heat the tires up real good.
With me is Jim Watson. Jim, where are you from?
Ellsworth, Maine.
And you're up here for the weekend racing.
Yeah, we came up last night, stayed in Calais, and came up here this morning.
How's the car running today?
It's running real good, no problem so far.
Now, you're not the driver. Who's the driver here?
The driver is my son, Jamie Watson. He's a little bashful and didn't want to get on the air.
Okay. What do you think of the track here at Pennfield?
It's a nice track. It's a little slippery today, but I think, you know, get a few more cars out there and get some more rubber laid down, and we'll stop our sliding around. Should be some good races today.
Yeah, he's just going to get himself a real good strong time trial here. Going to pass along. What's this coming behind him? What's that? What's this? That's back. Well, sometimes it did rain, and we thought we would run for cover ourselves, so we checked in with race announcer Gary Korskaden.
With me is Gary Korskaden, who is the race announcer here. Gary, what do you think about this weather so far?
Well, we've had just a little bit of everything here today. We've had to shut down a couple of times on account of little light rain showers, and we had a little bit of technical difficulty after the last rainstorm. Some of the water got into the wiring for the computer, and we got that all dried out, and everything's looking fine so far. We've got probably the largest group of race cars that we've had at Pennfield in the past 5 years, and one of the larger crowds out there. So if we can just hold off on the weather a little bit longer, we should be able to have one of the nicer days of racing that we've ever had here.
Now, could you explain the system you have here a little bit, like how you eliminate and so on and so forth?
Well, okay, this system is a little bit new to me. It's from the Winterport Dragway in Maine, and I haven't worked with this one particularly before, but the way it's set up, some of the classes are heads-up racing, and they're entered into the computer system here, and the first one that gets to the other end wins. And that's very obvious. The time comes up, the wind light comes on the left lane or the right lane, whichever happened to be the first one there. It gives you the time in elapsed seconds from the time the race started until they crossed the finish line. It gives you the speed in miles per hour that they acquired by the end of the quarter mile. And the loser is done for the day. The winner comes back for another round and meets someone else, and they do it all over again. But in some of the other classes, in the classes other than in street, they dial in a time that they feel that they are capable of accomplishing. And for instance, if they dial in 13 seconds flat and they get there first and they did it in 13 seconds or more, then they're the winner. But if they get there first and they did it in 12.999 seconds, 1,000 too fast, they're automatically a loser. So it's a system for the more complicated racers where they're not only competing against the other car, they're also competing against themselves. So they have to be very, very sharp at this. And it's right down to 1,000th of a second. So,
could you explain the difference between the classes as well, like the street and the pro?
Okay. If you notice on our announcement here, maybe I can hold it up so they can see it on the camera. The Super Pro class is the class that goes faster than 11.99 seconds, whereas the Pro class are slower than 11.99 seconds, and is anything above 12 seconds. But generally, they're also race cars. They have racing slicks on the rear. They have open exhaust, and they aren't necessarily street legal. But also today we have the King of the Street, and that's for all street vehicles. So they have to be licensed, inspected, full exhaust, and street tires. No racing tires. That's a separate category here today. And as well, we have the motorcycle class.
Well, the skies finally cleared. It was beautiful after looking at this rainbow, and racing continued. The king of the street turned out to be Joe Paluga from Bar Harbor, Maine. There he is in his 1962 Corvette. He ran in lapse time 11.56 seconds with a top speed of 117.8 miles per hour. Second place was Tom DiCenzo from Calais, Maine in his 62 MGB. Third place went to Paul Porter from Fredericton in his 1956 Chevy. In the pro category, Jerry Hatch with a 65 Dodge Coronet had an elapsed time of 12.36 seconds and a trap speed of 101.59 miles per hour. Second place went to Dana Sweeney from Fredericton in his 1980 Monte Carlo. Third place went to Greg Coggy from Fredericton in a 1988 Honda CRX. Yes, you can go drag racing with a front-wheel drive. In the Super Pro category, St. John's own Ray Roach in his 1967 Camaro, a lot of you recognize the Mousetrick car, had an ET of 9.85 seconds, top speed 130.81 miles per hour. Second place went to Curtis Caldwell from St. Stephen in his 1972 Dodge, and third place went to Jeff Soper from Orland, Maine in his 1968 Camaro. In the bike category, Jeff Foreman from Fredericton, driving an 1100 Suzuki Katana, had an elapsed time of 10.77 seconds and a top speed of 99.11 miles per hour. Second went to Roger Fortune in his 750 Katana. He hails from Willow Grove, just outside of St. John. Third place went to Dale McNeil from Fredericton, New Brunswick. Now let's check in back at the shop with the second segment on air conditioning. Here's Brian Ferguson.
Hi, during our last segment we had to talk about the basics of air conditioning. So today let's have a look under the hood, see where some of these components are located and kind of see what they look like. The heart of it all is the compressor. As you remember, the compressor, its purpose is to act as a pump, both to pressurize and to circulate refrigerant through the system. As it leaves the compressor, it will flow out into the component known as the condenser. The condenser is in front of the radiator. It looks very similar to a radiator, all the fins and tubes. This is where the cooling of these vapors takes place. After it leaves the condenser, it goes to what is known as the receiver dryer, or receiver. It's down in here, down in this hole, a little bit hard to see. Its purpose is to store refrigerant, to provide a good refrigerant, liquid refrigerant supply to the next component, which is way over here. It's down underneath your dashboard, located inside your heater box. It's called the evaporator. The evaporator looks very much similar to a radiator, except that it is much smaller and thicker, and its purpose is the same: to transfer heat, or to take on heat. It removes the heat from the inside of your car. From the evaporator, it will flow back out through the lines, back to the compressor, to start the cycle all over again. If you happen to look under the hood of your car, which is equipped with air conditioning, and you see a lot of condensation, or sometimes even a frosty appearance to some of the tubes, this could be considered quite normal. This is on the low side of the system, where the refrigerant is quite cold. On the other hand, you also should be very careful when touching under the hood. Some of these tubes may also be very hot. They're on the high side of the system. They've been pressurized and heated. So be careful if you're touching any of these tubes under the hood. If your car is equipped with air conditioning and you stop on the side of the road and you happen to get out and look and you see water running from underneath your car, with your air conditioning on, this is considered quite normal. It's because of the cooling effect of the air conditioning and the dehumidifying effect. The water is drained out to the ground to prevent it from being kept inside the car. The two purposes of air conditioning: first is to cool, the second is to clean and dehumidify. If the air is dehumidified, you'll feel much cooler. Your body is able to give off heat much better. Whether your car is equipped with manual air conditioning all the way up the line to automatic temperature control, some of the tips which you can use to help to get maximum efficiency out of the system are: first of all, keep your windows closed when operating your air conditioner. This will help keep the cool air in and the warm air out. Second thing is to select the recirculation mode, or recirc mode. By selecting this causes the air conditioner to draw air from inside the vehicle. The air in the vehicle has already been cleaned, dehumidified, and cooled by the previous cycle of the air conditioner. And one more tip to keep your air conditioning system working properly: it's a good idea to cycle the compressor at least once a month. This will help prevent the seals from drying out and causing leaks later down the line. I want to talk a little bit about refrigerants and the environment around us and some of the safety aspects. There's mainly two types of refrigerants being used in automotive air conditioning. One is called R12, or refrigerant 12, and the other is called R134A, which is an ozone-friendly refrigerant. The R134A has made an appearance in the last few years because of the concern for the ozone. R12, on the other hand, has been around for years, and it destroys the ozone. The ozone is a protective layer over the Earth, and it's to prevent the UV rays from getting onto us and causing such problems as skin cancers and eye cancers and that sort of thing. Scientists have found that refrigerant 12, one molecule of refrigerant 12, when it reaches the upper atmosphere where the ozone is at, given the right conditions, can destroy as many as 100,000 molecules of ozone. So it's very important that we keep these R12 refrigerants under tight security to make sure that they are not released into the atmosphere and they are handled properly. One of the things that the government of New Brunswick has been doing to try to bring this on, in conjunction with the rest of the world, has been international agreements, beginning with the Montreal Protocol, which calls for a ban of all ozone-depleting refrigerants. The ban on R12 will take place at the end of 1995. You will not be able to purchase any more new refrigerant. It will not be able to be produced anymore after the end of 1995. This is an international agreement, so we have no choice in this. We got to kind of sit tight and go along with everybody else. It's for our own safety. It's to protect our own health and safety of our children and our grandchildren, so it's quite important. Refrigerants are also quite dangerous if they are not handled properly. Refrigerants have a very, very low boiling point, and if they come in contact with your skin, they can cause frostbite or burns, and if it comes in contact with your eye, it can cause blindness, which cannot be reversed. So it's very important that you do not handle refrigerants. The province of New Brunswick, as well as other provinces in the country and in the U.S., have begun a certification program. It is now mandatory in New Brunswick for anybody working on systems handling CFCs or chlorofluorocarbon refrigerants. They must be certified. So if you are thinking of servicing your own air conditioning, don't do it. It's for your own safety and the protection of our ozone layer. So let's keep our AC systems in tip-top working order, and let's stay cool.
Where are all these motorcycles heading? Well, one event that's become extremely popular amongst the two-wheel crowd is the annual Bay Stomp. Juanita Peters was on location at the Stomp, and she was able to talk with some of the participants as well as some of the organizers at the event. Let's hear what Juanita was able to find out.
Sam from Hampton.
Dale from Hampton.
Danny from Hampton.
Charlene from Hampton.
Is this something you guys were all here last year, is that right?
Sure.
Is this something that you plan from year to year?
Yeah.
Sure.
Why? Why? What's the big deal? Bunch of people, like, camping out. What's happening?
It's the Children's Wish Foundation.
Yeah.
It's a good cause.
Exactly. We give our $10 to the kids. They're happy, we're happy.
Do you guys have any type of personal interest in that? Do you know somebody who's benefited from it, or do you just know of the foundation?
We all love children.
Yeah. Everybody got kids. Even me.
We have Hampton Station all over the place.
Yeah.
At bars and when we're out.
Okay, Mike McCambridge. I'm from Miss Peck, New Brunswick.
Is this an antique?
Well, it's a 67, 26 years old.
Quite unique. How long have you had it?
Well, I used to own this bike about 5 years ago, and I sold it, and I just brought it back here a week ago. So I had it 3 years previous, and I just brought it back here in the last week.
Do you do actual work on the bike too yourself?
Yeah, I do. I got a little bike shop out there in Miss Peck, just past Miss Peck Park.
Okay, so you're an obvious bike lover. What stirs this in people? What makes someone a bike lover as opposed to a car lover or a truck lover?
That's a tough question. Well, I don't really know, but I guess.
Is it maybe the feeling that you have when you're on the bike, the freedom?
Well, yeah, a certain sense of freedom. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's either you got it or you don't. You get on them, you like it, you love it, and away you go.
Andrew Merritt, and I'm from Digby, Nova Scotia, Digby Neck.
Okay, why all the way from Digby? What makes this event so special that you would travel all the way from Digby?
Look around you. A lot of bikes. It's a good time. It's for a good cause. It was a good ride here.
Tell me about your bike. It's definitely an antique, is it?
Oh yeah. It's 1943. It's a Canadian Army model. They used them dispatch riders used them in World War II. for running dispatches.
How did you get your hands on it?
I parts here, there, and everywhere. I got the main bike out of a barn down in Yarmouth, and I slowly over the years I restored it. I was able to get parts to the States, and it runs like a top.
One person to whom the Grand Bay Stomp was a very important event was the coordinator for the Children's Wish Foundation. Juanita talked with Leanne Dow Campbell.
Okay, Leanne Campbell is with us. She's the director, or the provincial director of the Children's Wish Foundation. And Leanne, maybe you can tell us some of the things that, or some of the wishes that these people are helping make come true.
Well, we have a child in St. John who wants to meet Patrick Roth. We're just getting that together, that wish. There's also another child who'll be going to Disney World. That's it for the St. John wishes. We're doing a swimming pool for another child in Loyne, New Brunswick, and that should be completed this weekend or early next week. So there are many things. The wishes just pop up every day.
And for those who don't know, the Children's Wish Foundation caters to what type of children?
Children who have a high-risk, life-threatening illness.
Okay, and how many of those would we have in the province? Like, what type of ratio are we looking at here?
We have, since we've been in existence since '87, we have done 91 wishes. It's a fair amount. We're doing more each year because we're becoming better known. But that's right, and that's the way it should happen. Across the country, Children's Wish has found that the number of wishes has sort of leveled out. Nationally, there were like a few hundred wishes last year than the year before. But in the Maritimes, since we're relatively new chapters, we're doing a lot.
Do you find that as the years go on, people are becoming more aware of what the Children's Wish Foundation stands for and what you do, and it's easier to get people to sponsor events?
I think so, because the more wishes that we do, 9 times out of 10, someone knows that child, they talk about it, and it just goes on and on and on. So the more wishes we do, children are aware, people are aware of Children's Wish. Also, they're aware of what we do. We also do the wishes. Plus, we have a Wish Family Weekend at Franklin Farms in St. Martin's. And this is our 3rd year for doing this. And what we do with this, we invite all of the families in from the province of New Brunswick for a 3-day weekend. And this is aided by Base Gagetown. And the full base is doing this. We have helicopter rides, airplane rides, scuba diving, rock rappelling, assault boats, zodiacs, you name it, we do it. It's just marvelous what this has done for us, and this provides good support for the parents and also for the children. They see other children that are ill, and everyone gets along fine.
And what type of monies has been raised by this event in the past, and what would you like to see happen this year?
Well, I would like to see happen that usually there's around $10,000, and the average cost of a wish is $5,000, and that way, by the Grand Bay Stomp, 2 wishes are being granted.
Well, thanks very much to Juanita Peters and J.P. Quinn for the report from the Grand Bay Stomp. That's all I have time we have for this week. Here's some coming events if you're interested in dropping in, seeing some live racing. On next week's show, be watching for a report from the Halifax Grand Prix, as well as a talk with some of our local go-kart racers.